Amina was a kind and curious little girl who lived in a quiet village at the edge of a vast forest. She loved to read books filled with adventures, magical creatures, and brave heroes. Every evening, she would sit under the big oak tree near her home, holding her favorite book, and imagine herself as the hero of a grand adventure. One bright morning, while walking near the forest, Amina noticed something unusual. A faint golden glow shimmered between the tall trees, forming a hidden path. Her heart beat faster with excitement. Could this be the adventure I've always dreamed of? She whispered to herself. Gathering her courage, she tightened her red scarf, clutched her little book to her chest, and stepped onto the glowing path. The forest seemed alive, as though it had been waiting for her. As Amina walked deeper into the forest, magical wonders surrounded her. The trees whispered softly, calling her name, and butterflies with sparkling wings fluttered around her head like living jewels. Suddenly, she heard a squeak. Looking down, she saw a small squirrel trapped under a fallen branch. "Don't worry, little one," Amina said kindly. She bent down and carefully lifted the branch. The squirrel jumped free, shook its fluffy tail, and then, much to her surprise, spoke. "Thank you, Amina. You have saved me. But I am not just an ordinary squirrel. I am a guardian of this enchanted forest." Amina's eyes widened in wonder. The squirrel continued, "Our forest is under a terrible curse cast by a greedy wizard. The trees are losing their strength, the rivers are fading, and the animals live in fear. Only someone pure of heart can break the spell. Will you help us?" Though nervous, Amina's voice was steady. "Yes. If I can help, I will." The squirrel guided Amina through winding paths until they reached a dark, eerie cave. The air inside was cold, and strange shadows danced on the walls. A deep laugh echoed through the cave. Out stepped the wizard, his eyes glowing with greed and pride. "So, the little girl thinks she can break my spell," he mocked. "Do you not know that I am the master of this forest? All must bow before me." Amina took a deep breath. Magic is not meant for greed or fear. Magic is meant to bring kindness and hope. The wizard sneered, but Amina opened the book she always carried. It was filled with her favorite stories, tales of friendship, bravery, and love. She began reading aloud, her voice strong and steady. With every word she read, the cave began to glow brighter. The darkness shrank away, and the wizard scowled. "Stop," he shouted. But Amina continued, her words filling the air with light. The wizard raised his staff, trying to summon shadows to silence her. But before he could strike, the forest itself came alive. Birds flew into the cave, deer stood at the entrance, and butterflies filled the air, glowing like stars. Even the little squirrel stood proudly beside Amina. Her voice grew louder, and the stories grew stronger. The shadows crumbled into dust, and the wizard's power weakened. "No, this cannot be," he roared, but his magic could not overpower the light of kindness. Finally, with a burst of golden light, the wizard vanished into thin air. The cave was silent, but the forest outside cheered with life. When Amina stepped out of the cave, she gasped in awe. The forest was transformed. Trees bloomed with bright flowers, rivers sparkled like silver, and the air was filled with sweet songs of birds. The once dark forest now glowed with warmth and happiness. The squirrel bowed deeply. "Amina, you have freed our home. The forest will never forget your kindness and courage." Amina smiled, her heart full of joy. "I didn't do this alone. We did it together." She returned to her village with the memory of her magical adventure. From that day on, she still sat under the oak tree with her book, but now she carried a new story in her heart, her own story. A story of bravery, kindness, and the power of light over darkness. Whenever other children gathered around her, Amina would tell them about the enchanted forest, the talking squirrel, and the wizard who was defeated not by weapons, but by words of hope. And every time she finished her tale, the children's eyes sparkled.